Hey, what's going on, guys? Y'all been asking for this for a while, and I finally was able to break down my costs and everything. And the question that everybody was asking, what did it cost me to take SlagHammer on the Hot Rod Power Tour 2022? And before I get to that, though, I want to say it was definitely an experience. It's something I can write up on the bucket list. Granted, it was on one of the hottest weeks and God knows when, and it took out a lot of vehicles. I mean, there was vehicles stranded all over the place, but the good thing was there was a lot of other participants out there helping other people out. And but overall, besides the heat, it was a really nice time. Was there things they could have done better? I mean, with this being my first power tour, so I have nothing to compare it to, but my personal experience is, I think on the day one, when you had to go in and register, it took a long time. I mean, there's a lot of cars. I believe it was almost 4,000 cars, if not a little more, plus or minus. Don't hold me to it. But once we got there, it took, God, an hour and a half of standing in that line to get my credentials. And especially out there with that heat, I know that a lot of things had gotten changed up for the first stop, because originally I think it was supposed to start at the Memphis Motorplex, which was the dragway or wherever it was down that way. And I guess the property had gotten sold, so they had to scramble at the last minute to do the first stop. That's when we did Liberty Park. I mean, which is a nice venue. I mean, it was just hot. And I don't think they were well prepared for all that. And but they got through it. We left early, like I said before, because Ethan wasn't feeling good. We did stop the night before and drove in the next day, primarily because not so much everybody being in Memphis, it's just certain areas in Memphis have an issue about cars being stolen. And in this case, first day, I think there was like 4 or 5 cars. It was like 4 Hellcats and a Cadillac that were stolen that morning. Second stop, which was over at the National Speedway, or Super Speedway, I thought, they kind of learned from the first one in Memphis as far as the heat went. So at the Speedway, they had misters out trying to keep everybody cool, but still an issue getting through the lines. I mean, when you got that many cars, the good thing about Memphis was that there was 2 lines going in. When we got to the Nashville Super Speedway, they had you line up one line going all the way in. And a lot of cars overheated. So I think, what should have been was there's 2 lanes going in and out into the infield there at the Speedway. I think when everybody was coming in, they should have used both of those. And if somebody was wanting to leave out, they were just going to have to wait a minute, because, I mean, there was a lot of cars. And Hoover wasn't a bad stop either, Hoover, Alabama. But the key thing is, on the Hot Rod Tour that I've learned, leave early. Because when you got almost 4,000 cars and you show up at, let's say the gates open at 8 and you don't get there until 12, chances are, or even if you get there at 10, you're going to be way back in the line. And it's going to take a while to get in. And like I said, with the heat and everything, there was a lot of cars overheating. Me personally, with SlagHammer, we almost overheated. Well, we kind of overheated twice. The second time was trying to get into the Speedway, Super Speedway in Nashville, and she bubbled over it a little bit there. but luckily it didn't overheat enough to lock the motor down. The second stop was actually, or let's see, the second time was Pensacola, Florida. And it wasn't so much as the event people letting the cars in, it just happened to be a wreck right there at the light going into the fairgrounds. And we had like a 2-mile backup, which, you know, caused a lot of cars to overheat as well. Atlanta Motor Speedway, got right in, got parked, no issues. But overall, I mean, it was a great time. It really was. And will I do it again? Good possibility. Will it be the same car? I don't know. And but my personal experience, I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it. Was kind of pricey on the fuel this year. When Tony and I were first talking about doing this, gas was like $2 and something a gallon. And by the time it was like weeks planning up to the point of leaving for Power Tour, as a lot of y'all know, the prices just skyjacked. And with SlagHammer, we were running 93 octane because we had the timing set locked in at 30 degrees. And for y'all say vacuum advance, but everything else, it was locked down at 30 period. No advance, no nothing. And the 93 worked better in the car. That way, it wasn't no chattering going up the hills or anything. But I mean, the car itself did good. Can't complain on that. If I do go again in a different car, yeah, I'll probably have some things set up. Because SlagHammer was not really meant to drive every day. I mean, luckily this was only a 5-day event, even though we left early. And I got home day after, so let's call it 7 days total. But the car did well, suspension did great. That was good. And but basic thing, man, a lot of people there were friendly. I mean, that's one thing I can say about it. Everybody helped everybody out. And overall, it was just a good time. Now, the part y'all been asking for, what did it cost me? So let's do a breakdown on it. And a lot of y'all kept guessing about the gas. And a lot of y'all were close. Now, the tour itself was just right at almost 1,500 miles. Okay, now I had to add miles to that because me living here in Middle Tennessee, I had to drive out to Memphis to start out day one. Now, there's a lot of people who drove a lot further than me. So that was 250 miles. And then once I left Atlanta, which was the last stop, it was like, what was it, 263 or something like that. Don't hold me to it. And actually, excuse me, yeah. Anyway, it averaged out, my total round trip for the Power Tour thing was 2,035 miles. Plus or minus a mile or two. But a lot of y'all were hitting and missing on the fuel thing. And a lot of you were kind of close, but you got to remember though, I was running 93, so the price was up there. Basically, my total fuel bill for Power Tour was $1,040, and the car averaged about 12 miles to the gallon for the most part. But you also got to remember too, you know, I had a little bit of gas when I got home, so, but price-wise, it was $1,040 in fuel. Hotel rooms, they were averaging about $100 a night. I had 4 hotel rooms. The last one I stayed at was $135 for the night, so $435 in hotel rooms. Let's see what else I have. I got it written down, so I'm trying to. Food and drinkage, kind of, or more to food than anything, was about $180. Other stuff like cigarettes, ice, and stuff like that was about another 175, 180, but I just said, you know, about 170. Miscellaneous stuff. I did have an oil pan leak going on during the tour, and I didn't feel like dropping it while I was on tour because it was just too damn hot outside. So I just stayed at a certain speed, and which was basically, I was running anywhere between 60 to 63 miles an hour. And so between oil, had another switch go out on me. So that was about another $20, $25, but I left it about 20 bucks. And my entry fee for Power Tour. Now, there's different things you can get. You can get the Platinum package. I think it was plus or minus $2,500. That got you basically VIP parking at each stop. I think it included dinner, a lounge area, and stuff like that while you're at the event. You had the Gold package, which was like $275 or $325, and that got you right behind the Platinum people. They got you closer to the main part of the venue. I was going to go for the Gold package, but I didn't want to pull the trigger quite yet on it, not knowing if we were going to have SlagHammer done in time, because all this stuff is basically non-refundable. So once you pay, you're done. And then when we got closer to the event date and realized that SlagHammer was probably going to make it, I went to go online to get the Gold package, and it was already sold out. So the only thing that was left was the long hauler package, and I guess they called it the multi-day. And when I went in to get the long hauler, they were almost sold out. So luckily I got that one, and that one ran about $175. And what that got me was my credentials. And if I was able to make all 5 stops, I got the long hauler certificate plus the plaque showing that I made it. I think the multi-day or per day deal was like $50 each stop that you made. So there's different price ranges on it. But just remember, the less you spend, the further out you're parking. And with 4,000 cars to try to park around, you could be out in the back 40 somewhere. But other than that, guys, I mean, I had a good time. I can't complain at all. And my total cost of doing everything, like I said before, I might have already mentioned it, but it was basically $2,035. That cost me to do Hot Rod Power Tour 2022. Now, from what I've heard, is usually next year, or how it used to work, that whatever the last stop was on the tour will be the first stop on the next one. So I don't know if that's true or not. If it is, that means it'll be starting back in Atlanta. But we'll see how it goes. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, and I'm also wanting to do Sick Week next year. So I got to figure out if I want to do Power Tour or Sick Week, because I mean, both this is going to cost me money. But that's where I'm at with it. So that's what it cost me to run SlagHammer. It was $2,035, 7 days, 5 stops, a little over 2,000 mile round trip for me. And was it worth it? For me, it was. It's the first time I've ever been, kind of like a bucket list thing. The car made it, and it was a real good time. So if y'all are thinking about doing a power tour and wanting to go, there's a lot of things you want to check off on your list before you go, because there was a lot of cars I saw that broke down, didn't have this, didn't have that. If you're driving a classic car or a hot rod type car, you know, pick up the basic things that you think you're going to need. The most common things that will go out if you're running a point system: carry extra set of points, condenser, extra coil, extra fuel pump maybe. There was a lot of guys on Power Tour that were running electric fuel pumps that were burning up because it was so hot outside. Luckily for me, I ran a manual pump, so we did fine on that. Of course, extra stuff, extra headlight, extra brake light bulbs, stuff like that. Extra coolant, extra oil, if you're running power steering, extra power steering fluid, spare tire jacks, all the necessity tools you're going to need. But other than that, man, just enjoy having a good time. Expect long waits and lines getting into the videos. And just have fun with it, man. There were so many different cars out there. And if you're a car enthusiast or a car builder or just love hot rods, it was the thing to do. And it was a really good time. I mean, it's basically the United States' biggest rolling car show. I hope this answers your questions. If you have any other questions for me about it, just leave it down in the comments. Other than that, guys, I'm going to go out to the garage and do some cleaning and hope it gets some more parts in today. I'll see you down the road.